Your age isn't the barrier to true love, Elon Musk once said in an interview. People limit themselves by believing that there is a set time or a set age when they must achieve something. But the truth is, the human spirit doesn't operate on deadlines, it operates on passion, courage, and persistence. Those words were not just about rockets, technology, or business. They were also about love. Because love, in its purest form, is the greatest innovation of the human heart. And unlike machines, unlike devices, unlike deadlines, love knows no age. Tonight, as you sit with your thoughts, maybe you are wondering whether you are too young to be taken seriously, or too old to start over. Maybe someone told you that your age is a barrier, that love belongs to the youth or to those who are still in their prime. But God has a way of whispering through time itself, "My child, your age is not your weakness. Your age is your testimony, your strength, and your proof that love finds you right where you are." Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Clara. At 27, she thought she had found her forever. She had invested years into a relationship that looked promising from the outside but hollowed her spirit inside. By 30, she was alone again, with nothing but broken promises. People around her said, "Now you must hurry, you're not getting any younger." Each word pierced her like a knife. She stopped going to gatherings because all she heard was, "When will you settle down?" Her age was turned into a countdown clock, ticking in front of her face. But something remarkable happened. When she was 43, she met Daniel. He wasn't looking for someone young, or perfect, or flawless. He was looking for someone real. Their paths crossed in the most unexpected way, through a community volunteering program. At first, she doubted. Am I too old to be desired? Am I too late to be chosen? But Daniel never saw her through the lens of time. He saw her soul. By 45, Clara was walking down the aisle, not as a bride running against time, but as a woman who had discovered that love was never late. This story is not rare. It is hidden in the quiet corners of life, where age has tried to build walls, but love always finds a door. And maybe, just maybe, right now, God is preparing a door for you. Think about it. The greatest love stories in history did not come with a timestamp. Abraham and Sarah in the scriptures were far past the age people considered possible, and yet they became parents of nations. Have you noticed that God often chooses people when the world has already written them off? He does it to remind us that age cannot define destiny. So why should it define love? Love is not a race. It is not about who reaches it first, or who looks the youngest, or who fits society's timeline. Love is about connection, purpose, and two souls recognizing each other in a crowd of billions. You might be in your 20s, wondering if anyone will ever take your feelings seriously. Or in your 30s, hearing constant reminders that time is running out. Or maybe in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, thinking the best years are behind you. But listen, the best years for love are the ones you step into with an open heart. Let me share another story. There was an old man who used to sit in the park every morning. His name was Leonard. At 71, he had lost his wife to illness. For 3 years, he carried grief like a heavy backpack. He didn't think love could ever visit him again. People said, "At your age, you don't need romance. You need rest." But one morning, he met Evelyn, a woman of 68, who came to the park to paint. They started talking about art, about books, about how coffee tastes better when shared. Slowly, something bloomed. Not the fiery, reckless passion of youth, but a steady flame that refused to die. By 74, Leonard confessed, "I thought my life was over when I lost love. But you've taught me that love is not something we outgrow. It is something we carry until the very last breath." Their story spread quietly among their families, and people who once thought love was bound by age began to believe again. Now, maybe you're wondering, but why does society keep making age such a barrier? The answer is simple: fear. People fear what they cannot control. They want timelines because timelines make life predictable. But God never worked on human timelines. He parts seas at midnight. He opens wombs that were called barren. He crowns kings who were shepherd boys. And he brings love when the calendar says it's too late. So tonight, hear this clearly: your age does not disqualify you. Your age does not reduce your value. Your age does not erase your chances. Love is not a privilege of the young. Love is the inheritance of every soul that chooses to keep their heart open. The angel that stands beside you, guarding you, is not counting the years on your passport. The angel is counting the purity of your hope, the strength of your faith, the courage to still believe. And Archangel Michael, who fights battles for you in the unseen, whispers courage when doubt tries to suffocate you. He says, "Child of God, do not fear the ticking clock. Heaven is not late. True love comes in divine timing, and it will not miss you." Pause here and ask yourself, do you still believe love is possible for you? Not yesterday, not someday, but today. Do you still believe that someone is being prepared who will not see your wrinkles, your mistakes, or your age, but will see your soul? If you do, then you have already defeated the greatest barrier. Because the barrier was never age. The barrier was belief. Love is waiting for you, and when it comes, it will not ask how old you are. It will simply ask, "Are you ready?" Elon Musk's words still echo in the background. People limit themselves by believing that there is a set time or a set age when they must achieve something. But the truth is, the human spirit doesn't operate on deadlines. It operates on passion, courage, and persistence. And when it comes to love, this truth shines even brighter. The world often tries to cage love inside numbers, as if the heart could ever be measured by a calendar. But the truth is, your heart beats the same way whether you are 18 or 80. It longs, it hopes, it dreams, it connects. Love has no expiry date. Think of all the times you thought love had already passed you by. Maybe you saw others getting married, building homes, celebrating anniversaries, while you sat in silence, convincing yourself that your chance had slipped away. But have you ever noticed how the universe works? Love does not arrive when you want it, it arrives when you are ready. And sometimes, readiness comes with years, with wisdom, with scars that have finally healed. There is a reason why God waits until certain seasons in your life to bring love. It's because He wants you to value it, to protect it, to recognize it. When you are younger, you may confuse attraction with connection, or passion with purpose. But as you grow older, your eyes sharpen, your soul matures, and suddenly you realize that love is not about butterflies in your stomach, it's about peace in your spirit. I want to remind you of something powerful. The angels that walk beside you are preparing someone who will not look at your age as a limitation. They will look at your age as proof of your journey. Every wrinkle, every scar, every year will become a story they want to learn, not a flaw they want to fix. Imagine this. One day, you wake up to a message, a smile, or a conversation that feels different. You can't explain it, but your soul recognizes it. The world may say, "You're too old to be starting this now," but your heart will reply, "I was born for this moment." That's what true love feels like. It cancels out the noise of society and whispers louder than doubt. Archangel Michael wants you to know that love is never late. He guards your path not only from dangers and enemies but also from the lies that tell you you're too old or too young for love. He cuts those lies with his sword of truth, reminding you that divine timing has nothing to do with human clocks. Close your eyes for a moment and think about all the people who gave up because they believed age had locked the door. Now imagine yourself refusing to give up. Imagine yourself still open, still believing, still expecting. That is the very faith that will draw love toward you. Because faith is a magnet, it attracts what your soul longs for. I once heard about a woman who was 59 when she remarried. She had lost her first husband decades earlier and raised her children alone. For years, she accepted the lie that love was no longer for her. Then, one afternoon, she attended a friend's event where she met a man who was 61. They talked like they had known each other forever. Within a year, they were traveling the world together, hand in hand, proving to everyone around them that age had no power over love. This is not fantasy. This is real life. And if it can happen for them, it can happen for you. You might be asking yourself, but why me, why now? The answer is simple, because you are still breathing, still hoping, still carrying the light of love within you. As long as that light exists, love can find its way. The angels remind you today, do not measure your worth by the years behind you. Measure it by the love within you. Someone out there is not looking for someone younger or older, they are looking for you. And when that moment comes, everything will make sense. The waiting, the heartbreak, the silence, the years, they will all lead to a love that feels eternal. So tonight, lift your head high and declare, my age is not my barrier, my age is my blessing. My age is proof that I have lived, that I have learned, that I am ready for a love that lasts. The world might laugh, but heaven is already smiling, because God knows love is preparing to knock on your door. Sometimes people look at their birthdays and feel pressure instead of gratitude. They count the candles and begin to believe that love is slipping through their fingers. But what if those candles are not a countdown but a celebration? What if each year you've lived is another layer of beauty, another page of wisdom, another piece of your story that makes you more prepared for the love that is coming? Think of it like this: love is not just about finding someone to walk beside you. Love is about finding someone who can understand the chapters you've already lived. And sometimes, it takes years for those chapters to be written. Sometimes, it takes decades before the right person comes along who is ready to read your story with patience and tenderness. The angels whisper that someone is being aligned with you who will not fear your past or your years. Instead, they will see your age as proof that you endured, that you didn't give up, that you grew through pain instead of staying broken. That kind of recognition cannot happen overnight. It happens when the right soul meets you at the right moment. You might have been told by family, friends, or even society that love has an expiration date. But notice something: those voices always grow quiet when they see someone find love against all odds. People mocked Sarah in the Bible for being too old to bear a child, and yet she did. People doubted Abraham, and yet he was chosen. The lesson is clear: when God writes your story, age is not an obstacle, it is part of the miracle. There is someone out there right now who is tired of the world telling them what love should look like. They are searching for something real, something lasting, something pure. And in time, your paths will cross. It may not be where you expect, it could be through a small conversation, a simple meeting, a chance encounter that suddenly feels divine. And when it happens, the years you waited will no longer feel wasted. They will feel necessary, because those years made you who you are. Archangel Michael is protecting you from the discouragement that tries to make you give up. Every time a thought enters your mind saying, "It's too late for me," he fights against it with truth. Every time society tries to tell you, "You missed your chance," he pushes back with the reminder that God's timing is perfect. Imagine standing in front of a door. On it, there is no sign that says, "too young" or "too old." There is only one word written: love. The door is not locked. It is waiting for the moment when both you and the one meant for you arrive together. No one can shut it, no matter how many doubts you've carried, no matter how much time has passed. There's a story about a man who believed he was too old for romance after his divorce. At 52, he had convinced himself that love was for the younger generation. But life surprised him. He met a woman who was 49, and together they discovered laughter, kindness, and joy like teenagers. They built a new home, not on youthful illusions, but on maturity, trust, and shared dreams. He later said, "I thought I had missed my chance. But now I realize my chance was waiting for me to grow into the person who could receive it." This is the same truth for you. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be, and love will meet you in that place. Sometimes, it takes losing people, enduring heartbreak, or walking alone for years to understand what real love is supposed to feel like. And when it finally arrives, you will cherish it with a gratitude that only time could teach. So don't fear your age. Celebrate it. Don't see it as a barrier, see it as a filter. Because your age has filtered out the wrong ones, the temporary ones, the ones who couldn't value your soul. And soon, the one who was meant for you will see your age not as a number, but as a treasure. The heavens are already aligning something beautiful for you. Keep your heart open, because when it comes, you'll understand why the wait, the years, and even the doubts were all part of the journey. There are moments in life when silence feels heavy, when nights stretch too long, and you wonder if your story is already complete. But the truth is, God is still writing. The author of your life does not stop at the chapter others expect. He continues the narrative until his purpose is fulfilled. That is why love can arrive at any season, even when people least expect it. Picture the way nature works. A tree does not bear fruit all year long. There are seasons of growth, seasons of stillness, seasons of shedding, and then, when the time is right, blossoms appear. Does anyone accuse the tree of being late? No, because the tree moves in harmony with its season. In the same way, your love story unfolds in divine timing, not human timing. Maybe you've been waiting so long that you've started to believe your chance has expired. But hear this: there is no expiration date on love when it comes from heaven. Love doesn't check your birth certificate before it enters your life. It checks your heart. The angels remind you that the heart never grows old. Your hair may change, your skin may change, your pace may slow, but your heart remains ageless. It is the eternal part of you that still longs, still believes, still carries the same fire it did when you were younger. That fire is what keeps love possible, no matter your age. Think of the stories you've heard of people reuniting with childhood sweethearts after decades apart, or widows and widowers finding love again later in life. These are not rare miracles, they are reminders that love is stronger than time. There was a woman who lost her husband at 40 and decided she would never marry again. For years, she focused only on raising her children. When her kids were grown, she felt loneliness surround her. At 62, she met someone unexpectedly through her church community. At first, she was embarrassed, thinking, "What will people say about me finding love at this age?" But then she realized, love is not about what people say. Love is about what God allows. And God had allowed her heart to feel alive again. She spent the next 2 decades not in loneliness, but in laughter, companionship, and care. This is what the angels want you to understand: your story is not over until God says it is. And as long as you are alive, love can still find you. Sometimes, it is the very years that you consider lost that prepare you for the right person. The broken relationships, the unanswered prayers, the delays, none of them were wasted. They shaped you, they taught you, they protected you from giving your heart to the wrong hands. Now, when love comes, you will recognize its truth. Archangel Michael is standing guard over your heart, cutting away the lies that whisper, "You're too late." He wants you to know that heaven does not see too early or too late. Heaven only sees readiness. And you are closer to readiness than you think. You may not realize it, but even now, someone out there is walking their own journey toward you. They might also feel too old, too late, or too broken. But God is guiding their steps toward yours. And when you meet, you will both realize that love was never delayed, it was always on time. So do not fear the calendar. Do not fear the years. The only thing you should hold on to is the certainty that love is timeless. One day soon, you will look back on these nights of doubt and smile. You will say, "I thought I had missed my chance." But in truth, love was simply waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. The heavens are already aligning that moment for you. The question is not whether love will come, it is whether you will still believe when it does. Keep your heart open. Keep your faith strong. Because what is written for you will never pass you by. The waiting can feel endless sometimes. You see people around you pairing off, building homes, celebrating anniversaries, and you wonder if maybe God forgot your prayer. But let me tell you this with certainty: God has never forgotten you. The angels have never left your side. Every tear you shed in loneliness, every sigh you released in silence, every prayer you whispered when no one was listening, all of it has been recorded in heaven. And none of it was wasted. You may not see it now, but all the waiting has been shaping you. Every season of delay was preparing you for a love that will not just be fleeting but lasting. The reason it feels so hard is because true love is not ordinary, and preparing for something extraordinary takes time. Think of a diamond. It does not form overnight. It takes years, pressure, and hidden transformation. By the time it is revealed, it shines brighter than anything around it. Your love story is the same. It is being shaped quietly, behind the scenes, until the time comes for it to shine. The world may tell you that love belongs to the young, but God says love belongs to the faithful. Age is not a lock on your heart. Faith is the key that opens the door. And when you believe, you allow heaven to release what was already written for you. There's a man who once shared that he found love at 67. He had lived most of his life single, pouring himself into his work. For years, people told him he was too late. But he never stopped believing. One evening, he attended a local event and met a woman who had been on her own for many years too. They started talking, and suddenly decades of loneliness melted into laughter. He said later, "I thought I had wasted my life waiting. But the truth is, I was being led to her all along. My age didn't stop me. My faith carried me. This is how heaven works. What feels like delay to us is often preparation. What feels like silence is often protection. And what feels like the end is often the beginning of something divine." Archangel Michael continues to stand guard over you. He is clearing away people who were never meant to hold your heart, no matter how much you thought they might. He is breaking apart timelines you thought you needed to follow. He is whispering to your spirit, "Do not give up now." The very thing you think is impossible is already on its way to you. Love has no age. Love has no deadline. Love does not rush, but it also never fails to arrive when the soul is ready. Think of Ruth in Scripture. She was widowed, and many thought her story was over. But in the very fields of ordinary life, love found her again in Boaz. She didn't chase it. She didn't force it. She simply lived faithfully, and in the right season, her heart was restored. That same principle applies to you. Even in the most ordinary moments of your life, grocery shopping, sitting in a park, attending a small gathering, love can appear. The angels are arranging meetings you cannot see yet. The timing may surprise you. The place may surprise you. But the feeling will not surprise you. It will feel like peace, like home, like something your soul has been waiting for all along. So don't let the voice of doubt win. Don't let the calendar intimidate you. Don't let the fear of too late steal your hope. Heaven has already written your story, and age was never written as a barrier. One day, you will sit across from someone and realize why it didn't work with anyone else. You will realize that love had to wait for this moment, this person, this season. And when that realization comes, it will heal every lonely night you endured, every tear you cried, every moment you doubted. Love is still ahead of you, not behind you. The story is not over, it is still unfolding. Every heartbreak you endured, Every door that closed, every goodbye that shattered your spirit was not the end of love, it was the clearing of the path. Sometimes God has to remove what is temporary in order to make space for what is eternal. And though it hurt at the time, you will one day look back and understand why certain people were never meant to stay. The angels have been present in those moments when you thought you were abandoned. They were holding your spirit when you cried yourself to sleep. They were protecting you when you thought you were simply unlucky. Archangel Michael especially has been fighting unseen battles for your heart, cutting ties with people who would have used you, lied to you, or broken you beyond repair. It may have felt like rejection, but it was actually protection. You may not realize it, but every delay has been a form of love from heaven itself. If God had given you what you wanted when you wanted it, you might have settled for less than you deserved. You might have tied your life to someone who could not value you. Instead, He held you back, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Think of the way the stars shine. They don't appear in the sky all at once. The darker the night gets, the more clearly they reveal themselves. Your love story is like that. The longer you walk through seasons of waiting, the more radiant the love will be when it finally appears. Do you know why love doesn't care about age? Because love is not about numbers, it's about alignment. Two souls can wander for years, even decades, before they finally meet. But when they do, the timing feels so divine that the years they spent apart no longer matter. There's a woman who once said she met her husband at 54. Before him, she had lived through 2 broken relationships and had almost given up hope. When they met, she said, "I don't feel like I've lost years. I feel like every step of my past brought me to him. The wait makes sense now." That is the kind of love heaven is preparing for you. A love that makes sense of the waiting. Right now, you may feel like you are behind everyone else. But remember this, flowers bloom in different seasons. Some blossom in spring, some in summer, some even in the last days of autumn. No one looks at a late-blooming flower and says it is less beautiful. They marvel because it blooms when no one expected it. You, too, are a late bloom in the garden of love, and that makes your story extraordinary. The angels want you to stop measuring your worth by other people's timelines. Your journey is unique. Your love will arrive in a way that no one else can copy. That is why it cannot be rushed, and that is why it cannot be stopped. Archangel Michael says to your spirit now, do not despise your waiting. Do not fear your years. For every step you have taken has been guiding you closer to the one written for you. Love is not behind you, it is ahead of you. And when it comes, it will feel eternal. Imagine it for a moment. Imagine sitting across from someone who looks into your eyes and doesn't see your age, your past, or your scars. They see your soul. They see the years as proof of your strength. They see your journey as beauty, not baggage, And in that moment, you will finally understand why love had to wait until now. Your age is not your barrier. Your age is your blessing. It has shaped you into the person who will not waste love when it finally arrives. And when it does, it will not feel rushed, fragile, or uncertain. It will feel steady, certain, and timeless. Hold on to this truth: heaven is not late. God is not silent. Love is not gone. It is simply arriving at the hour appointed for you. And when it does, you will realize that it was worth every second of the wait. When love finally arrives, it carries with it a depth that cannot be imitated. It isn't shallow or fleeting, it's rooted. And that rootedness comes from the years that taught you patience, from the tears that made you stronger, from the silence that taught you to listen, and from the loneliness that taught you to cherish presence. This is why the love that comes later often feels richer than the love that comes early. It carries the weight of wisdom, the gentleness of gratitude, and the strength of endurance. It isn't just a spark, it's a steady flame that warms you through every season. The angels rejoice when two souls find each other after long journeys apart. They celebrate not because the union is perfect, but because the timing is divine. They know how many nights you doubted, how many times you thought of giving up, how often you looked at your reflection and wondered if love had already passed you by. And they also know that heaven was preparing a surprise beyond your imagination. Archangel Michael whispers that the love coming toward you is not fragile. It will not run at the first sign of struggle. It will not fade when time passes. It will stand, it will protect, it will grow, and it will reflect the very faithfulness of God. Think of it: every person who left, every disappointment you faced, every delay you endured, it all makes this love more meaningful. Because now, you will be able to recognize the real thing. You won't settle for half-hearted affection. You won't mistake temporary passion for eternal connection. Your spirit has been trained to recognize the one that was truly meant for you. There's a story about a man and woman who met in their 50s. They often said to each other, "I wish we had met earlier." But one day, the man paused and replied, "If we had met earlier, I wouldn't have appreciated you the way I do now. I had to grow, I had to break, I had to learn, so that when I finally met you, I could love you the way you deserve." And in that moment, both of them realized the truth: timing is not late when it is divine. This is how your love story will feel. Not rushed. Not forced. Not fragile. It will feel like it arrived exactly when it was supposed to, carrying the lessons of the past and the hope of the future all in one. The angels want you to stop fearing the years. Every year you've lived has added something beautiful to your soul. It may not feel that way when you look at your reflection, but when the right person looks at you, they will see every year as treasure. They will see your resilience, your wisdom, your faith, your growth, and they will honor it. Love at the right time doesn't see numbers. It sees eternity. It doesn't ask, "How old are you?" It asks, "Where have you been all my life?" It doesn't care if the world calls you too young or too old. It only knows that now is the moment written in heaven. So lift your head, because your story isn't finished. Love is not a chapter you missed, it is a chapter you are about to step into. And when you do, it will rewrite the way you see everything, your past, your present, your future, even your age. Remember this: age cannot lock out love, but faith can unlock it. The more you believe, the more space you make for it to arrive. The angels are already guiding your steps toward that moment. Trust them. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Because soon, you will stand in awe and say, "This is why it took so long. This is why it couldn't happen earlier. This is why every delay, every heartbreak, every waiting season was worth it. Because love was never gone, it was simply waiting for me." When true love finally steps into your life, it doesn't just give you someone to walk beside, it begins to heal every wound you once thought would never close. The love that comes in divine timing has a way of reaching into the deepest parts of your soul, places you've hidden even from yourself, and gently restoring them. Think of all the nights you carried loneliness like a weight. Think of the times you pretended to be strong when inside you were breaking. Think of the moments you convinced yourself you didn't need love anymore, only to cry quietly when no one was looking. Love remembers those nights, those tears, those silent prayers. And when it arrives, it feels like balm on an old scar. It doesn't erase your past, but it soothes it, it redeems it, it makes it meaningful. This is why the angels keep reminding you, do not be afraid of your age, do not be ashamed of your past. Everything you've been through is preparing you to receive a love that is capable of restoring the years you thought were lost. The book of Joel says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." That restoration is not only for finances or opportunities, it is also for love. What you thought was wasted time will be returned to you in joy. Archangel Michael stands with his sword of light, cutting away the lies that whisper, "It's too late." He wants you to know that love is on its way, and when it arrives, it will feel like redemption. You will no longer look at your past with regret, you will see it as the very journey that brought you here. Imagine sitting across from someone who listens to your stories without judgment. They don't just tolerate your past, they honor it. They see your age not as a limitation, but as evidence of your endurance. They see your scars not as flaws, but as proof that you survived. That kind of love doesn't just hold your hand, it holds your soul. There was a man who once believed he would die alone. At 58, he had lived through heartbreak, betrayal, and disappointment. Then, unexpectedly, he met a woman who was 56. They fell into conversation, and what began as friendship grew into something deeper. He later said, "I never thought love would find me again. But now I see, it didn't just find me, it healed me. It gave me back the years I thought were gone." That is what is waiting for you too. Love that doesn't just enter your life, but restores the life within you. The angels want you to understand something powerful. When true love comes, it multiplies. It doesn't just fill the empty spaces, it overflows. It makes laughter return to your lips. It makes hope return to your heart. It makes life feel new, no matter your age. And here is the beautiful part: love is not racing against time. Love is timeless. When it arrives, it makes you feel younger, lighter, freer. It's not about trying to act like you're 20 again. It's about feeling alive in a way that only real connection can bring. God's timing is perfect. He knows exactly when your heart is ready, and He knows exactly when the other person's heart is ready too. He has been guiding both of you, even through years of separate journeys, toward one another. Soon, paths that once felt far apart will meet, and when they do, you will both realize why it never worked with anyone else. Love that is written by heaven has no fear of numbers. It is not concerned with wrinkles or calendars. It is only concerned with souls. And when souls align, nothing, not age, not distance, not doubt, can stand in the way. So keep walking with hope. Keep believing. Keep trusting that the angels are leading you closer each day. Because the love you've been waiting for is not gone, it's closer than you think. Love, when it finally settles into your life, does not come to simply fill an emptiness, it comes to awaken something greater inside you. It becomes more than companionship, it becomes a divine partnership, one that aligns with your purpose and magnifies your light in the world. You see, true love does not make you smaller or quieter, it makes you braver. It encourages you to rise higher, to dream again, to step into the parts of yourself you may have hidden. When the right person enters your life, they remind you of who you are in God's eyes. They do not compete with your light, they reflect it back to you. This is why age is not a barrier. In fact, sometimes it is age and experience that make the connection deeper. You have walked through shadows, and so has your partner. Together, you meet in the light, bringing all that wisdom, patience, and compassion into a bond that is stronger than anything you could have imagined in your youth. Archangel Michael whispers that your story is not finished yet. Do not assume that because you've reached a certain stage of life, the chapter on love has closed. No, your pages are still being written, and some of the most beautiful lines are yet to come. Love is waiting to surprise you, to enter when you least expect it, to show you that God's timing has always been perfect. Think about it this way: when you were younger, you may have been searching for love out of need. You wanted someone to complete you, to fix the loneliness. But now, you have grown. You have learned. You know your worth. So when love arrives now, it doesn't come to complete you, it comes to complement you. It comes to walk beside you as an equal, not as a crutch. There is something breathtaking about love that arrives later in life. It is tender but strong. It is passionate but steady. It is built on trust, not just attraction. It celebrates your individuality while also cherishing your togetherness. And most importantly, it honors your journey. Imagine waking up next to someone who looks at you and doesn't see age lines, but lifelines. They see every mark as a story of survival, every smile line as a record of joy, every wrinkle as proof that you lived, that you endured, that you still radiate. That gaze alone can heal years of self-doubt, because in their eyes, you are not defined by age, you are defined by love. The angels want you to know that the love coming your way will not just make your heart race, but it will also give your spirit peace. It will not drain you, it will energize you. It will not leave you questioning, it will bring you clarity. And when it arrives, you will understand why you had to wait, why others walked away, why doors closed. It was because this love, this divine union, required preparation. God was never denying you love, He was preparing love for you in its truest, most powerful form. He was shaping both your heart and another's so that when you met, you would not just share affection, but destiny. Love will soon become your partner in purpose. Together, you will not only enjoy life's sweetness, but you will also inspire others. You will show the world that love has no expiration date, that it grows richer with time, that it is more radiant when souls are ready. And maybe, just maybe, your story will become the very testimony someone else needs. They will look at you and say, if love could find them at this stage, it can find me too. You will become living proof that God's promises are never late, that His timing is never wrong, that His plans always exceed our expectations. So, keep your heart open. Do not let fear close the door. Do not let doubt whisper lies. The universe is conspiring for you. God is aligning paths. Angels are guiding steps. And love, the kind of love that transcends age, is on its way.